Get ready to rev up with Ref. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Get ready to rev up with Ref.
Welcome to RevUp, everybody.
Welcome to RevUp. Thanks for coming.
Welcome. Welcome to RevUp. Welcome to RevUp.
Welcome to RevUp.
Get ready to rev your engines for RevUp.
Welcome to RevUp. Welcome to RevUp.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Jenna Wachtel-Pronovost, Executive Director of the Ravenswood Education Foundation. And on behalf of our board and the Ravenswood City School District, thank you so much for choosing to join us tonight. It's our first ever live virtual gala, so thanks for your patience and encouragement as we try out this new medium. While we wish we were together in person and truly hope to be soon, we also hope you're recreating some of that magic at home. And as far as I can tell, you look beautiful. Look, your time is precious. Time away from screens is precious. And so the fact that you're choosing to spend your precious time with us here tells me that you already know how critically important it is that we continue to rally behind the Ravenswood community and rev up our support as we emerge from these challenging times. The pandemic has highlighted a truth that many of us have known for a long time. We really are one community. As is the case with COVID, when our neighbor is sick, we are all at risk of being sick. This concept extends to educational opportunities and issues of racial equity. If our neighbor doesn't have access to high-quality education, our community is at risk of being uneducated. Regardless of freeways and city lines, we are interconnected. And yet, despite being so connected and acknowledging that the past year was challenging for each and every one of us, we also know that this pandemic hit our communities in countless disproportionate ways. While many kids across the Bay Area were able to return to in-person learning in the fall and winter, the COVID positivity rates climbed extremely high in East Palo Alto and Eastern Menlo Park, making it unsafe to open school in person until now. This was due in part to the large numbers of essential workers in the community who did not have the privilege of working from home, as well as often crowded multifamily living environments. This meant that on top of the struggles that Ravenswood families faced around the reality of losing jobs and income, the fear of becoming homeless, worries about where their next meal would come from, not to mention the trauma of losing a loved one to COVID, Ravenswood students and teachers were also grappling with making distance learning meaningful in less than ideal situations. We had kids who were trying to learn in a bedroom with 3 other children each on their respective Zooms, or taking classes from their cars as they drove with parents to work. Distance learning is hard enough when you have a quiet workspace, consistent internet access, and adults nearby who can help. And our Ravenswood students were much further behind the starting line. Whether you are a longtime supporter of Ravenswood or a new friend of Ref, a teacher, a volunteer, a donor, a board member, or something else, we're all here tonight because we know that this isn't right and we want to do something about it. This event is a fundraiser because we want to make sure that money isn't a limiting factor in what Ravenswood schools can offer to our students who need the support the most. Our sponsors have already gotten this campaign off to a great start. And I'm so pleased to announce an exciting matching grant opportunity tonight. Thanks to Altimeter Capital, Defy Partners, and 3 longtime Ref families, Sue and Kurt Jaggers, Susan and Marshall Moore, and another who wishes to remain anonymous, any donation over $1,000 will be matched up to $250,000 tonight. You are welcome to use the donate button on your screen anytime, and we will also circle back at the end of the evening and provide instructions for how you can text to make a donation. But for now, let's focus on our why and how. Tonight, we're going to hear from teachers, students, and district leaders about the strength and resilience of the Ravenswood community, about how they are working to overcome the challenges before them. They have a vision for what's next that I think will make you feel proud to be part of the team. So without further ado, it's my privilege to introduce you to Diego Nolasco, an 8th grade student at Cesar Chavez Ravenswood Middle School, who's going to tell you a little bit about who he is.
I came and I am Diego Nolasco. I came from a childhood of Wii, video games, the Avengers blanket, and Vans. I am the laughter in spite of the darkness and fitting in with expectations. I am like the wind that shows my calm, anxiety, and fierce self. I came from music that feeds my soul. I came from movies that took me on adventures. I've yet to make my own traditions in life though. I came from knowing there should be no separation between humanity and believing all people should have access to whatever they need and be whoever they want. I am Iron Man. Just kidding, I'm a lot of things, and I have a name for these things, and that being Diego.
Wow. I came from knowing there should be no separation between humanity and believing all people should have access to what they need and to be who they want. I could not have said it better myself. Thanks, Diego. Well, now it's my pleasure to introduce someone who, like Diego, really walks the talk and puts into action the belief that all people should have access to what they need and to be who they want. As many of you know, Gina Sudaria is Ravenswood's revered superintendent. Although she formally became the permanent superintendent just over a year ago as COVID was beginning to ramp up, she has been a well-loved and well-respected member of the Ravenswood community for over 20 years. She started here as a teacher and has served as a principal, HR director, and more. She has earned the respect and trust of everyone who has worked with her, and she is a beacon of light for the district and our future. Welcome, Gina.
Diego's remarks ring far and true. All people should have access to whatever they need and be whoever they want. I am so proud to be part of Ravenswood, where our mission is to truly eliminate barriers and empower every student to engage in their education and fulfill their unique potential. During the 2019-2020 school year, my first year as superintendent, pre-pandemic, we strove to turn this district around and thrive. We made the hard but necessary decision to close 2 schools in order to become fiscally solvent and maximize the resources to improve student learning. We sought to develop 3 state-of-the-art elementary schools, with one focused on Spanish immersion and another on the arts, as well as a richly staffed, nationally recognized middle school. We turned our attention to improving the quality of instruction, with better coaching and support for teachers. We created a new governance team that solidified a strategic plan in partnership with school staff, families, and community partners. We were poised to set up the trajectory of our district for the next 5 years. And with the hire of a new chief business officer, who you will get to hear from soon, to round out our team, we were able to begin to work to align our dollars to our priorities and our values. Right as we were ramping up to implement all this exciting transformation, COVID hit. We needed to regroup and respond to the immediate needs of our families, make sure we prioritize health and safety, and address the inequities that were so obviously plaguing our community. I am proud of the way we met the challenges this past year presented. With local COVID positivity rates being 3 times higher than the county average, collectively we agreed it just was not safe to bring back our school community in person until the numbers declined. So instead, we rapidly launched learning hubs at our school sites, where over 200 of our highest need students could receive support from community organizations with online learning. The learning hubs allowed us to work with a small portion of our teacher and learning community in person, while the rest of the district flipped instruction to remote learning. We were able to focus on 3 priorities during the pandemic: health and safety, learning and development, and strengthening community. We distributed over 1 million meals, provided over 1,000 devices, including hotspots, laptops, and iPads, and went above and beyond to meet our individualized and unique family needs. The Ravenswood Education Foundation supported these efforts, and it is one of the main reasons that Ravenswood held our own in the Bay Area school landscape, despite some very challenging circumstances. The great news is that we have weathered the storm together as one Ravenswood. We have started to phase back in-person classes across all of our schools, and we are fighting to regain the ground we lost. By May 5th, all of our students will be invited back on campus. And as our children return to school, staff are focused on building relationships and developing lessons where students can see themselves and make historical connections and learn how to be a driver in their own education and community. We are working with the intention to make school be a place where students have access to whatever they need, like Diego said, and encourage them to be whoever they want. I am proud of how far we've come this year and the direction we're heading. It's been a tough road, but our great team has made it possible. To help us understand the journey, let's hear now from several Ravenswood students and teachers about their experiences navigating distance learning.
One thing I like about learning from home is actually nothing, because it's really difficult and I need like help personally, and I just can't do it in distance learning anymore. I need a teacher present. I need them to like be physically here with me so they can help me do the work. I just can't do it through distance learning where I'm just on a computer and then maybe like my Wi-Fi crashes or their Wi-Fi crashes and then they're lagging and I can't hear them.
Distance learning during this pandemic has been kind of confusing and a different experience entirely.
Learning from home has been quite difficult because in my past home I haven't been able to get any help and too many distractions. So yeah, that was really quite difficult to, get into distance learning at first.
I wasn't that worried about it because I thought it was fun because I got to stay at home and do school. But now it's not as fun as I used to think it was.
Every single day, they would do the same. Decker, when are we going back to school?
Master Cuellar, are we seeing you tomorrow? Are we coming to school back tomorrow? And weeks went by. And when are we coming back? I want to go to school. I want to see my friends. I want to be able to play with the puzzles or just go and hug you, things like that.
Why can't we come back together? And I'm just like, I honestly can't tell you anything. Yeah, it's awful.
And it was really difficult for me to be able to explain that for me, I wasn't sure when we were going to come back.
So even like the closure of the year, none of the kids had closure last year.
Things that I miss about school are socializing and being able to ask your teachers for help or staying late after classes to get your work done.
The hardest thing for distance learning would probably be like the teachers trying to communicate with students, because some students, they don't turn on the camera or they're just not there, and it kind of ruins the experience for everyone, especially like when you have to do something in a group. I've been in several groups where nobody else has talked at all.
When I knew we were not coming back to in person, I started to worry about the students who were not able to get food for lunch or breakfast, because I knew their parents were getting out of work too. Most of our parents had 2 jobs just to be able to provide for their kids, and losing their jobs, it made me really worried about how were they going to be able to provide for food.
Sometimes I get carried away by thinking about other problems like what I'm going to eat, the roof over my head, and instead I like to focus on like my school, because my school is like more important sometimes.
It was hard because I had to ask my parents and family members to help, but they also had to learn what was going on and how to help me. And I couldn't always ask my teachers, which was much harder to ask my teachers.
I think distance learning is hard for teachers because it's hard for kids to pay attention to what they're teaching, and sometimes it could be a struggle just because somebody isn't turning the camera on. I feel like the teachers think that it's like the students aren't even there.
During COVID, I think teachers feel pressured. I think they feel pressured because of how much they have to get done, and then maybe they have their own stuff going on. Like I have a few teachers who like someone died in their family or someone's like getting ill, and it's like I think it's really difficult for them.
So many stories, sad stories, people losing relatives and calling me and crying, Master Cuellar, I lost my brother. Or it was hard for me also, but I don't mind. They know that they can call me at any time, but I wish I can do more for them.
I think there's going to be a difference between the people who have family members that can help and people who don't, because it's harder for them to work at home. They don't have parents that can teach them or help them out. I think what students need in this time is an environment that they can work in or get help from.
The kids are going to come in not with a fresh start. They're going to come in with a whole bunch of trauma from what just happened, and we're all going to have to deal with the repercussions of that trauma and how to help students work through it. So we're just going to need, I don't even know, we're going to need a lot of just support and a lot of extra time to work through things that we don't even know what we're going to be facing when they come back.
I'm struck by the empathy and compassion that both the students and the teachers show in these testimonies. Despite their own struggles in these times, how considerate they are of others. I'm also struck by how daunting the challenge of learning acceleration can be. As we heard Ms. Cuellar say, I wish I could do more, or how Ms. Decker said, we are going to need a lot of support and extra time. Luckily, our next speaker is helping to lead the charge to answer exactly that question. Will Eager is Ravenswood's Chief Business Officer. A former math teacher, he joined the district in July after working most recently with Boston Public Schools. Already, he has done so much to improve transparency and align the district's values and priorities with its finances. In his short tenure here so far, Will has streamlined many budgeting procedures, guided the district through many unprecedented shifts in public monies and expectations, and developed a plan to leverage and upgrade our facilities. He has been a phenomenal strategic partner for REF, and I'm excited for him to share with you some of the compelling strategies the district is planning to implement to address the impact of COVID with our support. Welcome, Will.
Never been a dull moment to join Ravenswood. Joining the district a little bit less than a year ago was probably one of the most exciting times to come on board. The last year and a half has been a trying time for all of us, but it truly feels like spring here in Ravenswood. With REF's tangible and intangible support, we have partnered together to navigate through the worst of the pandemic. Through our dynamic partnership, we've distributed laptops, launched learning hubs, distributed millions of meals, and so much more. Behind the scenes, we've worked to make our budget understandable, transparent, and workable. Yet with our students coming back on campus and the opportunity to strategically leverage the recent stimulus funding, we're looking forward to truly reimagining how things are done in Ravenswood. Right now, we have a special opportunity to strategically blend public and private funding streams to significantly accelerate learning. Looking forward, we have 3 critical strategies for success. First, we are acting upon our ambitious strategic plan that we released just over a year ago. Last year, before the pandemic, REF invested $6 million in programs ranging from arts and music to class size reduction to teacher development and coaching. These programs have been pushing our students forward. The task now is how do we build upon them and other district-funded programs to ensure that our instructional core is uniformly excellent across our schools. Second, research confirms that opportunity and achievement gaps have widened during the pandemic. A recent McKinsey study found that during the pandemic, Latinx students were half as likely as white students to access in-person learning. The same study found that nationally, while white students may have missed the equivalent of about 6 months of instruction, students of color may have missed 1.5 times that. To address these growing gaps, we've formed a committee that we affectionately refer to as the Committee to Resolve Educational Inequities Exacerbated by a Global Pandemic. This cross-cutting team, including representation from REF, has come up with a plan to braid different funding streams to invest $20 million of new funds over the next 5 years. This plan builds upon our core programming to reimagine the school day with more individualized instruction and approaches to create deeper connections between students, families, staff, and our overall community. We're going to do this by investing in research-backed strategies such as extending the day, high-dosage tutoring, robust summer school, class size reduction, and so much more. Of course, this pandemic is unprecedented. We need to remain flexible. We need to adapt and respond to what the data tells us is working and isn't working. This is not just because our efforts have to work, our students need us, but also because we need to take this unique opportunity to truly evaluate our progress every step of the way to determine which of these programs we are going to integrate into our longer plans. Third, common sense is backed up by hundreds of studies that show that what matters most in education is having an excellent teacher in every classroom. Right now, our teachers can go a few miles in any direction and make $25,000 more a year teaching smaller class sizes. That's $1 million over the course of their career. This disparity is a big reason why nearly 60% of our teachers leave the district before their 5th year. We need to address this compensation disparity while strengthening our teacher performance systems, evaluations, and developing a plan to celebrate our high performers, of which there are many in Ravenswood. This is a unique moment in world history and a unique moment in Ravenswood. I am awed by the opportunity and daunted by the challenges. But I know that we are changing, we are doing it in a sustainable way, and we are rising to the moment. We really look forward to bringing all of you along for the ride. Next, I'm happy to share with you some of the truly inspiring and amazing examples of resilience we've seen over the past year from across our community, featuring the powerful voices of our students and our staff.
This school year, I'm proud of my community for the resilience that they have shown. They're just waiting for us to tell them when to come. When we were planning to have them come back for the students in kindergarten, they were just ready. They were just waiting for us to let them know when and how. Even though for some of them it's difficult because they don't have transportation to bring their students to school, they're just finding ways to help their kids be successful, be at school, do what they need to do to overcome this challenge that it was the shelter in place.
This year I'm most proud of getting my grades up. I had all Fs and all Ds, all Cs, I don't have any of the good stuff. And the way I was able to succeed this was by getting help from my sister, and she helped me a lot, catching up on missing assignments and everything. So she's my great help. I have all A's, just one B, and it got better.
From the school year, what I'm most proud of is most definitely my improvement on grades and being a better student than I was last year and the years before that. It really does empower me knowing the fact that I'll be the first person to go to college in my family. I listen to advice. My brother and my sister, they're older. They regret a lot of things. They tell me, do this, don't do that. And especially my parents too. They tell me, don't do this, do that, because my family is, we just live paycheck by paycheck. That's how most families are, and I feel gifted and proud that I had the privilege of being able to get this much education to go to college.
Distance learning has made me more confident because on Zoom I'm on a screen, and then in person I'm wearing a mask and it covers my face, and it helped me I'm not as shy as before. I feel like I've become more outgoing.
This year, I'm proud of just the way the teachers and the students have managed all of this uncertainty.
I do not think that I've lost any learning this year because my teachers have done such a great job by teaching me things and keeping school fun, entertaining and learning, and making it a little easier so it's not too hard.
My school supported me with distance learning by, giving people laptops, asking them, oh, do you have a laptop at home? Is your Wi-Fi good at home? Does it work? They also gave us school supplies, and they still give us school supplies. They're really helping us out.
One thing I learned during COVID, among many, it was that I have to be able to show or teach my students that they can be successful even in difficult times if they believe in themselves. They have to believe that they have the power. Every day I talk to them, making sure that they know they're powerful. Like, I'm super reader, I'm super writer, I'm a super kid, I'm a super scientist, I'm a super mathematician. Whatever they're doing, we use the word super, and they know they have powers, special powers. I want to make sure that they have the tools that they need to succeed.
I love that message from Ms. Cuellar. We can be successful in difficult times. We are powerful. She is so right. We can do hard things, and frankly, we have to, for our kids and our future, and their future depend on it. No question is going to be hard work to accelerate learning, but I believe we have the superpowers of the right team, the right community to get us there. Our staff, our students, their families, and all of you. When we work together, we can give our children a top-notch education. This is our moment, Ravenswood. Let's bring together the compelling need with our collective will to make change supported by the strategies and plan we have envisioned. Our students and families are ready to soar to new levels with us. We are so close, but we will only get there if we go together. It'll take all of us. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce you to another one of our beautiful middle school poets, Lenny Ward. Lenny is an 8th grader at Cesar Chavez Ravenswood Middle School. And knowing she is speaking her truth, growing her leadership makes me even more hopeful about our future.
I used to think of myself as the forgotten, as a petunia that fell from a bush into the thick concrete, a plant that would never be able to replant itself, but would instead later rot, where this petunia would constantly be smashed by the sneakers of those who walked by, or perhaps burned by the sun. As petals fall off this once beautiful petunia, parts of me began to fall off and become disconnected, discouraged, discombobulated, even disfigured, until my petals, my gifts were spread, and all I was left with was to look at my shallow core, the core that laid brown and dark secrets caved in by me. But maybe there is hope for little old petunia like me. Maybe a crack in the cement which allowed dirt to escape, a new opportunity. Maybe the right wind or the right angle. I just might grow, like Tupac's rose in concrete. Watch me blossom, watch me regrow. Watch my petals loom in and my giving tree starts to grow. Watch my leaves tower over my lost dreams. Watch my leaves touch the shoes on power lines. Watch me make it out because my tears watered and grew my roots. I made it out because I found my roots. Or maybe I made it out because I had to lose all of my roots. So who am I? I'm more than the forgotten. I'm more than the rose that you knew which grew from concrete. I'm the beautiful petunia which sprouted from a bush of dead weeds in the middle of these streets.
Hearing Lenny's words gives me chills. And she reminds me of what a critical and exciting opportunity we have to nurture all of our petunias in Ravenswood. Each child has so much potential that is only limited by the circumstances and environment and quality of education they are provided. Together, we have an opportunity to make a trajectory-changing impact to support the children, families, teachers, and staff of the Ravenswood City School District. Please join us in supporting these efforts around learning acceleration, supporting talent through enhancing compensation, and more by making a contribution tonight. There are 2 ways for you to donate. We will quickly walk you through how to donate from your computer or from your phone. But before we do so, please know only your name will show up in recognition on our event page. No amounts will be shown. If you are watching from your computer, you will see a blue donate button in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Click it, and a simple, secure donation form will pop up. If you prefer to use your phone, start a new text message to the number 41444. That number is 41444. The text should include 3 things in the body of a single message. Type RevUp, your gift amount, and your name. Again, that number is 41444. If you'd like to remain anonymous, no problem. Just enter anonymous instead of your name. You will receive a reply with a link to a secure form to complete your gift or make a pledge. And remember that thanks to the generous support of Altimeter Capital and Defy Partners, and the Jaggers, the Moores, and an anonymous family, every gift tonight over $1,000 will be doubled. Wow, you're already stepping up. I shouldn't be surprised. That's how REF does, right? That's how we do in REF. You're here to help Ravenswood students. And if you missed it, the number to text is 41444. Just include RevUp, your donation amount, and your name, or just click the donate button on your computer. Okay, it's pretty exciting to see everything come in. And don't worry, you can keep donating throughout the night. In closing, I want to thank first the Rally crew and the RevUp committee members who hosted and invited your friends and family to participate this evening. And an extra special shout out to Megan Clark and Adrienne Germain, who spearheaded tonight's event with grace, flexibility, passion, and commitment, which, as anyone who has tried to plan anything in the past year knows, was a very tall order in an ever-changing environment. Your gifts of time and talent are tremendous. And finally, I want to thank all of you for sharing your hearts, your time, and your financial support tonight. Together, we really are one community. And now, I'll leave you with a few last words from some of our youngest students and beloved teachers.
Some changes that I see on my students now that we're back in person is their eagerness to do things, to follow directions, to have somebody who's guiding them through the process of learning to read and write.
Like they came running in, and I know we're supposed to keep socially distanced, but they come running in, they wrap their arms around you, and I'm like, oh, hello, yes, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, back up. Like, here's your space. They just love every single person in here. They're so willing to help. If I tell the kids to do something, immediately the kids will do it, and then they'll look around to see who isn't getting it and who they can help.
Hi, my name is Nisi. I am in TK. My name is Osvaldo and I'm in TK with Mr. G. I like Mr. G because he's a funny teacher. My favorite thing about class is playing and stuff and doing challenges with my friends and playing outside and drawing and then painting. We do a lot of fun stuff. I like doing painting because that's the only thing we do on Friday, and I love to paint. I like to paint rainbows. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I actually know a lot. Hello, Jackie. Hi. I know her. Hello, Valencia. I know all of the teachers. You do? Yeah.
Since the very first day, they were so excited. Maestra Cuellar, and they were just, you can see their eyes just ready to listen and to follow directions and do their best. And just be here at school, it makes them feel that they're doing something that is going to help them thrive.